Dear friends, good morning. Wish you all happy Independence Day, the 75th Azadi Ka Mahotsav also. It is my proud privilege to welcome you on behalf of Professor Brahm Singh Horticulture Foundation, BSHF, a not-for-profit organization, and my own behalf to this 5H webinar series entitled Future Indian Horticulture Innovations and Technologies. BSHF is thankful to NIPA, New India Publishing Agency, New Delhi, for sponsoring this webinar series. I am happy to welcome co-organizer Dr. Shailendra Rajan, former director, ICAR, Central Institute of Subtropical Horticulture, Lucknow. As per the title of the series, the emphasis in this series of the webinar is on future horticulture, innovations and technologies. And one of such innovations or technologies is organic horticulture or natural horticulture, which is being promoted by Government of India as natural farming, on which the speaker today, Professor Rajeshwar Singh Chandel ji, the Vice Chancellor of Dr. Y.S. Parmar University of Horticulture and Forestry, Nauni, Solan, Himachal Pradesh, would enrich our knowledge. About Professor Chindel, though he doesn't need the introduction, just in brief, Professor Chandel earlier was as an executive director. He has been responsible to initiate and execute the ambitious Prakartik Kheti Kushal Kishan Yojana. We call it PK3Y, i.e., for example, natural farming, prosperous farmers scheme of government of Himachal Pradesh through implementation of natural farming as proposed by Padma Shri Mr. Subhas Palekar. As a part of this engagement, Professor Chandel has successfully led an initiative to bring over 1.7 lakh farmers under the ambit of natural farming across all 12 districts of Himachal Pradesh. He is also working to create a mechanism for measurement and evaluation framework for sustainability measurements, including sustainable development goals. In addition, he is also leading a vision plan to design a sustainable food system platform for natural farming in Himachal Pradesh. He envisions a long term system to cater to the entire 9 lakh farmers across the Himachal Pradesh through a strong science extension collaboration. Big ambition. As a senior researcher and academic with over 27 years of experience, he has keen interest in the field of natural farming, insect pest management, honey bee ecology, tritrophic interactions, pesticide taxology, and sustainable food system for enhancing farmers' income. He has published over 200 papers in national and international journal of repute, and he is currently focusing on enable sustainable food system in Himachal Pradesh in general and across all Himalayan states in general. He is well connected with FAO of United Nations, IFOAM Germany, BioVision, and French National Institute for Agriculture and Environment, France, in this noble endeavor. Professor Chandel holds a BSc and MSc in agriculture and a PhD in agricultural entomology. He is recipient of an international fellowship on teaching practices in horticulture and forestry from Germany. Recently, he has been recognized as an international trainer on agroecology. So that was in brief about Dr. Chandel. Now I request Dr. Chandel, though he knows it, what I am going to talk about, what the public opinion about this or the excitement of the public on natural horticulture or natural farming is. Now I request Dr. R.S. Chandel to throw some light on the following points also during his talk, if convenient and possible. Otherwise, he can forget about that. These points keep, bothering the majority of horticultural scientists, and they keep on discussing time and again. And I'm sure he must also be involved into it. These points are that personally, where I'm involved, inorganic or chemical horticulture is progressing, which we call soilless horticulture, and it is going on world over. Hydroponics, aeroponic, vertical farming, food factories, urban horticulture, and blah blah blah, whatever are there. Then what we are going to listen from Dr. Chandel, that is natural horticulture. And people call it organic horticulture or zero based budget farming, etc. These terms he may like to clarify if he feels so. Then another thing which is bothering the, I think everybody, if not everybody, at least somebody, that in a periodic table of elements, there is no organic elements in nature that are available to plants. Organic is converted into inorganic ions before assimilated by the plants. Then everything on earth planet is consisting of chemicals. Nothing can be chemical free, whether it is organic or natural or some other farming. So, my concern is whether we should call it natural farming or organic farming, or we should think giving some more or much more appropriate term to it. But the basic thing is we want to see the advantages of this, which I think Dr. Chande is going to discuss. We are keen to listen about the advantages and the sustainability, including the soil health. That's what I think Dr. Chandel will be concentrating upon. I'm sorry that I have given the comment in the beginning. I would have given it in the end. Now, friends, questions can be raised in the chat box, which we will try to answer after the talk. Now, I request Dr. Chandel to just enlighten us on the topic of natural horticulture or organic horticulture. Dr. Chandel, sir.
Sir, you're on mute.
Okay, thank you. Very good afternoon. Before I start my talk, I would like to convey my heartfelt thanks to Professor Brahm Singh ji, who has been considered as a tycoon in Indian agriculture, Indian horticulture system, guiding us, mentoring us for the last more than 4 decades. Sir, this wonderful initiative undertaken under the aegis of Professor Brahm Singh Horticulture Foundation, along with Professor Shailendra Rajan and Dr. Pritam Kalia, who had been my esteemed teacher also during my undergraduate program. So I think this could be the best tribute to the martyrs who have sacrificed their lives for our safety, for the safety of the India. The topic has been chosen under 5H series, that is Indian future horticulture, innovations and technologies. Yes, there is now no need to relook what has been done, what has been achieved, and how to sustain what has been achieved, or rather, how to sustainable it, how to take it forward. So, I would like to immediately shift to my slides. So, Shivangi, will you move to my slides?
Yes, sir. Sir, you'll have to share the slides.
Yes, I am doing it.
Yes.
So, can you see my slides?
It's visible, sir. Just hide the panel below it.
Okay. Now it's clear.
Yes. Yeah,
Oh
yes,
yeah.
right.
So these are the sum of glimpses because Himachal is known as the apple state. Around 1.5 lakh families they depend upon the apple for their livelihood. So these are the some of the glimpses which I would like to show before I move forward. Yes, what is happening in our conventional farming system, or I would say in the industrial based farming system. So our state, I will, because I have worked for the last 5 6 years on natural farming in Himachal Pradesh. So most of my references will come from Himachal Pradesh. So our state is falling in the category of fragile Himalayan biodiversity state. We have been losing the biodiversity below and above the ground. There are the reports that 90% of our indigenous honeybee, Apis cerana, which is responsible to pollinate a number of the fruit crops, horticulture crops, specifically apple, they are declining. Himachal Pradesh, although it's a hill state, people love to eat from pahads, hills, mountains, and they have the confidence that whatsoever is coming from mountains is free from pesticides. But unfortunately, we are contributing 1% higher pesticide residues in our daily used food commodities than the national average. And another report says that over 80% of the farmers after applying pesticides, they reported number of problems like irritation, eye irritation, skin allergy, vomiting, dizziness, etc. after pesticide application. So this shows the highest level of risk of pesticide hazards. Yes, this slide I would show later on. I don't know how it comes earlier. But Another issue is the disconnect between the institutions responsible to train farmer, to enhance their skill on the agriculture. They lack the connect between the farmers. 57% of the farmers were found dependent on pesticide dealers and 24 on relative advice. And another important issue which I would like to highlight here is that our state falls in the category of better states in terms of the financial empowerment of the individual. Our annual average income is over 2 lakh per family in Himachal Pradesh. We don't have the farmless labor. Everybody has some piece of land, good house. But recently in 2019-20, National Family Health Survey has shown something different, which is another challenge we have to face. The children below 5 years of age are stunted. So they are 30%. Children under 5 years having acute malnutrition, their number is 17%. All women up to 49 years of age are anemic, their number is 53%. And similarly, around 19% of the men, they are anemic. And data is more alarming than 2015-16. So reason I have put on the right side of the slide, that although we have been doing very good in horticulture and vegetables, the area has been increased up to 900 times, vegetables 364 times, 65 times. But the intercrops, 5-tier system, having all horticulture, agriculture, vegetables, all components of the horticulture, which were the part of our farming system, have been now turning into the pure culture crops, monoculture crops. Fake pesticides have entered in the markets. So this is the reason we need to think for the future horticulture, for the innovations we need to have to sustain the horticulture system. This slide is from Himachal, but this shows the whole Himalayan region. We have not more than 10% of the land suitable for agriculture, horticulture activities. Around 90% of the farmers are small and marginal, that is having less than half hectare of land. Fertilizer consumption has been on the rise. Similarly is with the pesticides. So under circumstances, we can confidently say that yes, hill agriculture with small landholders can be a model for natural farming. So, considering the threats, sorry, and hoping for a bright future, the government of Himachal Pradesh during 2018, they initiated a new scheme, Prakriti Kheti Khushal Kisan Yojana, and the objective was to enhance the farmer income in harmony with nature by adopting low cost, climate resilient, natural farming system as promoted by the Padam Shri Subhash Palekar. So here, one of the query which was the bothering point which was raised by the Honorable Founder Chairman Professor Singh Saab, that what's the difference between the organic farming and the natural farming? How natural farming differentiate from the organic farming? So I have to speak something beyond this talking point. Honorable Prime Minister of India has spoken about the doubling farmer income. So we have the same piece of land. We have the technology with us. We have the number of farmers leaving agriculture, moving to the cities in search of livelihood opportunities. Average cost of cultivation has been increasing. And from my state, what we have studied, we found that in apple specifically, a farmer spends over 1 lakh rupees per acre. Similarly, in case of off-season vegetables, this cost goes up to 25,000 per acre. So that means generally from countryside we talk of enhancing the productivity, the total production, self-sufficiency. But when we look at the another side of the coin, we have seen that more than 20% of the farmers have left agriculture in last 2 decades. So had everything been good, comfortable, profitable, sustainable, then why these our youngsters, school, college dropouts, even qualified youths, they are leaving agriculture? So this is the underlined issue, current issue, which we need to think upon, which we need to consider on priority when we talk of future horticulture, when we talk of the future innovations, future technologies. So there must be some problem. So the first and foremost issue which we coined out was the cost of cultivation. Unless we disconnect the farmer industry connect, he will not get the relief in agriculture. We have seen that there were only 1 or 2 shops per district everywhere in the state, or the same was the story with other states. Now the pesticide dealers, fertilizer dealers, they have entered in the, down to the remotest area of the villages, towns. So simply the difference between organic farming and natural farming, which we could try to draw, is although the motive is same, harnessing the nature, using local resources. But when the industry saw that the government priority has been shifting from the industrial based agrochemicals to organic farming, the industry shifted its focus to develop the organic inputs. So what happened to the farmers, particularly to the small farmers? They could not afford purchasing costliest, even more costlier than the chemical inputs, chemical fertilizers. They could not buy the organic inputs from the market. So the simple difference we could draw is that input is ex situ in case of organic farming, and in case of natural farming it is in situ. That means everything, every input which is required for the successful cultivation of a crop, it is to be prepared on or around the farm. So this is the simple difference. And here the main focus has been kept on the dung and urine of the cow, and more specifically on the indigenous cow, considering the fact that it contains the highest number of the microbes per unit weight of the urine or dung. The objectives of the schemes are very simple, which is required by the country: farmer prosperity through improved soil health. Yes, it is now very evident that during 1947, after we achieved the independence, our organic carbon was more than 1.5%. But what has happened now? The average organic carbon has come down to 0.3.4. The Honorable Prime Minister of India has raised the concern very seriously about it. During UNCCD, United Nations Convention to combat desertification. It was during this international convention, which was chaired upon by the Honorable Prime Minister. He offered a commitment from the India that will recover 20% of the land back by 2030. So can we do it by the present chemical-based farming practices? Over 30% of the Indian land has been declared as the degraded land. So this natural farming has the capacity to improve the soil health. Reduced input cost, this is somewhat natural. Then will cut his dependency on the outside market to buy inputs. The cost of cultivation will reduce drastically. Healthy produce will automatically come, because I have seen in my state over 70 pesticide molecules are present which are unauthorized, unapproved. And similarly, when we'll work on all these components, we'll try to create a healthy farm ecosystem which will lead to sustainable farming and farmer prosperity. So these are the four principles basically which were suggested by Mr. Subhash Palekar, who was later in 2016 was awarded the fourth highest civilian award by the government of India, that is Padma Shri, that is Bijamrit, Jivamrit, Achhadan and Bapsa. So all are used as a culture, not as a fertilizer or as irrigation. And one very important statement which was given by Mr. Subhash Palekar is that no root demand any fertilizer. And similarly, no irrigation is required for the crops. So these are the four principles. Here you can see some of the examples how farmers they are doing on their own farm. They are treating seed with the Bijamrit. It enhances the germination potential. It protects the seed from the seed-borne diseases. Similarly, for the seedlings, you can see how they treat with the Bijamrit. This is Jivamrit. This is the wonder decoction which was invented by Mr. Subhash Palekar and now suggested to each one in this farming system. This is used as a culture. You can see in the slides. Just here you can see the farmer is just adding a bucket of the Jivamrit in the irrigation water. So when it will spread on the whole land, on the whole farm, the microbes, they will spread all across. Here you can see just by a drop by drop adding to the irrigation water, it will spread to the whole soil, to the whole farm. Another is Ghanjivamrit. So here you can see in case of organic farming, our recommendation is 5 ton FYM per acre, 5 ton. But here this Ghanjivamrit is applied only as the 200 kg per acre. So that means it's not only cutting the farmer dependence on the market to buy costly fertilizers, but it also reduces his efforts. He's applying only 200 kg per acre. And simultaneously, what is happening, we are on a very fast track to lose the family farming. Average family size is reducing. And that has affected the keeping of the animals per family. So where from 5 ton FIM will come? So this is another challenge. So Ghanjivamrit is the solution, where it is applied only as a culture and not in a volume. Another is Achhadan. Yes, wonderful idea given under this methodology farming system that cover whole soil surface, either by the dry mulch or with the live mulch, with the live crops. So what would happen when we will apply the chadan or mulching? It will stop the soil evaporation. The dry achadan also attracts the moisture from the atmosphere even under 25-30% relative humidity. It creates a soil temperature in such a way that it remains between 28 to 32 degrees centigrade, and which is most favorable for the multiplication of the microbes in the rhizosphere area. And at the end of the season, it converts into organic matter and adds to the soil. And one interesting component here is one crop must be leguminous to harvest that atmospheric nitrogen and add to the soil. Next is Vapsa. Again, this is a wonderful idea given by him. When Subhash Palekar says that no root demand water, only moisture is required by the roots. So what happens in this case, because most of our area, particularly in my state, it's around 80%, 81% is rainfed. So people depend upon the rains to cultivate the crops. So here you see here farmer is applying this Jivamrit only on the side beneath the canopy. So what will happen with the capillary action? This Jivamrit will try to go inside in the dry land, and the roots in search of water, in search of moisture, will spread around, and where they will meet each other, that is the only requirement of the plant. That is the only requirement of the plant. So here you can see, this is the channel. So under the high rainfall areas, the excess water will go to this channel. And in case of low rainfall areas, we'll apply the water or Jivamrit or whatsoever comes through rain, that will be stored in this channel, and by capillary action, it will move towards the plant rhizosphere area. So this reduces the irrigation requirement up to 70%. Here also in case of other field crops, you can see how these Vapsa line are created. So only with the capillary action, this water will go inside. So these are the different inputs which our farmers are using on their farms, and everything is available on the farm or around the farm. So you can see cow dung, urine, lime, water, legume flour, undisturbed soil, jaggery, cow dung, urine, tobacco, turmeric, hing, ginger powder, garlic. So all these, whether plant protectants or which works as fungicides or which works as soil enhancing inputs, they are all being prepared by the farmers of the land. So as of now, Himachal has over 1.7 lakh farmers who have been converted to the natural farming practices. And because apple is our priority crop, apple is our dominant crop, and out of total horticulture produce, 92% comes from apple. So 14,000 plus farmers, they have been transformed. Around 99% of total panchayat, we have around 3,616 panchayats in the state. So around 99% panchayat have some models. And area is now touching 10,000 hectare. So what we have done here is, I would like to highlight one or two important points here is that it's not a scheme which is being enforced upon the farmers. Our officials, they visit each village, each panchayat, motivate farmers, select a very few 10, 12 for 2 days training. And finally, farmers are motivated to start this farming only from a few plants or a smallest piece of land which they keep for their family. Because this is general truth, hard truth from the state, that farmers which they keep for their family, whether apple plants or other fruit plants or vegetables, they do not supply them. They bear the loss, but do not supply. So we motivated this farm to start from those plants, and if they get convinced, automatically they enhance the area gradually after the coming years. So we have also started some of the fellowship programs. Some fellows were engaged to strengthen the programs, integrated the schemes with many other government schemes. NAVAD is also helping all across to support this natural farming program in Himachal. Another important issue which we have introduced here in Himachal is that we selected the best farmer in three panchayat. The farmer who has showcased the best model on their farm, they have engaged as the master trainer for 6 months to train other farmers in their surrounding three panchayats. So this proved a very interesting program. So this moved the whole orientation of the program from official to farmer, from official to farmer, and now it's more a farmer to farmer movement. Uh, so I would like to mention here is that this is not a program because earlier we had listened also. We have tried to overheard कि गोमूत्र है, गोबर है, कहाँ दुनिया को 19th सेंचुरी में वापस ले जा रहे हैं. दिस इज द मॉडर्न टाइम नाउ. दिस इज द टाइम फॉर द हाईटेक एग्रीकल्चर. Yes, that's true. But if gobar and gomutar can do wonders, can prove more effective than the industrial produced chemicals, so it's not the taking back farmer to the 19th or 18th century. So our officials, they are working from the smallest village to panchayat, and now we are also working internationally. Now INRA, which is French National Institution for Agriculture and Environment, and FAO, we are now having many likely to have MOUs on different issues related to the natural farming. We have a strong presence in Niti Aayog and Ministry of Agriculture in the implementation of the program for the rest of the states in the country, how to replicate the scalability across the country based on successful model in Himachal Pradesh. So now, after the 3 years experimentation on the university farm by our scientists, so they have worked out now with a package of practices, and they have developed a year-round operation schedule of operations on apple based on the natural farming. So this is the schedule. Now, hopefully, it will be launched within the next 1 or 2 months for the farmers. So here you can see how the farm from the monoculture, apple based monoculture, has all been transformed to the multi crop farms, creating an ecosystem where everything is being created on farm, applied on farm. And because there was one more bothering point from Singh sir. Okay, what are these different terms? One was, it was also used as the zero budget natural farming. So Subhash Palekar idea was that since the cost of cultivation is reduced to minimum, farmer buys nothing from the outside, and that reduced cost of cultivation, that is met by through the intercrops, and accordingly the main crops, it becomes the pure profit to the farmer. And this has been happening here also. This has been happening. Our farmers are now they're getting the profit, sole profit from their main crop by selling the intercrops and covering their minimum cost of cultivation. Now another issue was the certification. How natural farming would work, how the farmers would come to the natural farming unless there is a certification process. Yes, that's true. So there was number of challenges in case of organic farming certification. We hire third parties, they come, they get government support, they work for 3 years. After fourth year, they get abandoned, and they get the monetary benefits from the government based on the scale of the land on acreage basis. So why he will prefer to work on actual area which is transformed to organic area? So he tries to cover the maximum land so that he will draw the maximum monetary benefit from the government. And who will take care of the farmer after the termination of that program after 3 years? So now we are in the process to develop a innovative farmer self evaluation certification mechanism where the farmer will upload his data individually or with the help of the our block officials, total land and how much land is converted to the natural farming, what are the crops, their volume. So on that basis, 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, अंतराल साधारण किसान, अंतराल किसान, साधारण किसान, विशिष्ट किसान. So this is under process, and hopefully within 2 months, 3 months, because Government of India has also instituted a committee, and being one of the members of that committee, I have presented this whole certification innovative process which we have created in Himachal. I have presented before the Niti Aayog. Hopefully, with some minor modification, this will be approved. So here, farmer has not to dependent upon the outside agency. Sorry. Secondly, this certification system has the transparency also, traceability also, because this will be in the public domain. So any consumer with the one click of the mouse can find out the whole detail about the farm where from he is buying or he is having the produce. So this will also provide the traceability. So here you can see we have created some of the such type of the outlets the farmers are using. They are placing these outlets on some highways, on some points of the crowd, so selling, getting good uh, price out of their produce. Then we have number of success stories from the every district. We are sharing. We have shared these success stories with PMO, with Niti Aayog, with Ministry of Agriculture, uh, with the full detail of the farmers, having his telephone numbers, uh, his total land, how he converted, how he's transformed, and many have very interesting stories. They have to fight with their families, with their spouses, to transform because nobody was initially believing on this methodology. Yes, there are some of the key learnings what we could learn and how to proceed further. That this transformation can never happen if we fund support the farmers based on the area. We have to work initially on outscaling model, convince the farmer. You'll get a farm sparsely located, one farmer in one panchayat, then you may get two, three in another panchayat, and it will never happen that whole area will be converted immediately within 1, 2, 3 years. So the main learning is that focus on individual farmer, focus on individual model, and the farmer when will have the good model, automatically the it will have the outscale effect, it will have the upscale effect. So we have also submitted it to the Government of India that program implementation should not be based on area, because what have happened earlier in the case of PKVY, uh, this is again one of the important program of the Government of India, Paramparagath Krishi Vikas Yojana. Here the funding was based on the area. So what we think it will never happen in case of area, because whole farmer in an area will never transform. They will first look at the farmer who is already doing. They will observe him. They will again follow him, and finally it will take 5 to 8 years to convert a farmer full land, whole land to natural farming, and the farm surrounding farmers of the natural farming. Yes, Transition of a farmer to natural farming is not a physical activity, so it passes through the various tandem processes. We have been also working on the market system. Again, certain principles are required to be integrated when we look at the market learning. Because what is happening now, what is the cost which the produce has finally got with the consumer, farmer doesn't know it. And the experience from different parts of the country shows that farmer gets up to 29 rupees if something is sold at rupees 100 in the market. So principles of transparency and traceability, these two factors must have to be included when we start thinking of market learning strategies. The farmer should have get the information what was paid to him out of the total cost which was priced in the market. And back traceability, because in case of organic farming now, what is happening, consumers are not confident that whether if they are paying higher price, whether they are getting the genuine produce or not. So back traceability has to be provided to the consumer to make the farmer consumer strong connect. Then syllabus needs to be now included. So already the committee has been constituted. We have submitted a report being a member to the government of Gujarat. Government of Gujarat hopefully tomorrow will launch this program for the agriculture universities. Government of India has also constituted a committee, and being a member of that committee will try to submit the report within the next month. And my university, I have will start the natural farming masters in natural farming right from the this session, and BSc natural farming from the next session. Earlier in PKY, the funding criteria was based on the cluster pattern, and they have considered the 1,000 hectare clusters initially to consider the proposal. So we have proposed that it can never happen. So it must be at least 15 hectare in case of hilly region and 40 hectare in case of plains. Convergence of different department, horticulture, rural development, forest, pastoralist, apiculture, they all need to be have to the successful conversion of a farmer to the natural farming practices. We have to design the costing procedure initially for 5 years, and must be then need to be extended to 7 to 8 years to convert a farmer fully to the natural farming practices. Another is natural farming is a knowledge intensive activity. Farmer as well as the resource person, they get more enriched with the knowledge after year after year. Hence the POP once developed needs to be revised in consultation with the farmers after 3 years, after 4 years. So here scientifically, because this was also a query we have been getting from different corners, what would happen to the productivity, what would happen to the soil. So here you can see this is the result from our experimentation in university which we are doing on high density apple. And I would like to highlight here is that high density apple is a very input intensive crop. It requires round the year supplementation of the fertilizer to fertigation, then application of the pesticides, fungicides, insecticides. But here annual growth and girth was recorded better. Then SPNF, this ZBNF, Swashpalekar natural farming, ZBNF, these are all synonym terms. Fruit quality, these trials are also encouraging in terms of fruit quality. So here acidity, fruit firmness, TSS, reducing sugar, non-reducing sugars, total sugar, they are better than the chemical grown apple farming system. Then again, there was improvement in the fruit appearing and fruit size compared to the earlier years. In the third year of the experimentation, our scientists they got the best results. Then there was no significant increase or decrease in the yield of apple crop in the first year. That means it was equally good compared to the chemical farming. But however, there was a significant increase in the yield in the second and third year. So yield here, what they observed during second year of experimentation was 10 metric ton per hectare, and in Himachal the average apple yield is 6 to 7 metric ton. So now it has, and it was 10.07 metric ton in case of chemical farming. So now after second year and third year, the natural farming models are yielding better yields. So this is some economic comparative economics. So in case of natural farming during 2020, net returns was 3 lakh 60 hundred, and in case of chemically controlled, chemically managed farms, as per the university recommendation, it was 3.45 lakhs. Next year, it enhanced to 3.62 in case of natural farming and 3.552 in case of chemical farming. So the 2 years data shows that in case of apple, the cost of cultivation went down by 57%. So this was the first point I highlighted during my third and fourth slide, that the first aim should be to reduce the cost of cultivation if we want to retain the farmer on their farms. If we want to stop the migration of the farmer from the villages to the cities in search of livelihood. So here, in case of vegetable, it was 27%, but we could reduce up to 57% of the cost in case of apple. And hopefully, with the gradual years, with the coming years, this cost will further reduce. Then net return in case of apple, we could provide the up to 27% of better net returns in case of apple and 19% in case of vegetables. Then another observation, another comments which we receive from different quarters, to that if there are farmers, they are applying 10, 12, 13, 14 sprays per cropping season, how will we control these pests through natural farming practices? But incidentally, the scab which appeared in Himachal after 20 years, we could manage this scab better than the chemically managed farms. Then Tuto absoluta, which is one of the pests which has been entered in India during 2014, and it has become now a very uh, serious pest of all solanaceous crops across the country. Even government of India, it has asked the all states to submit data every month on the infestation of Tuta absoluta. We have received wonderful results, and in SPNF fields, the entry of this pest was 3 weeks later than the chemically grown farms. Similarly, when we talk of the enhancing the soil biota through natural farming practices, here you'll find some result that bacteria, fungi, actinomyces, seeds, they increased by significant number, significant percentage before harvest, before sowing and after harvest. Then similarly, soil enzymes like dehydrogenase, phosphatase, urease, they all get a significantly higher incremental increase when it was compared to the chemical farming practices. And in last result, you would see here, in case of high density apple, which I have earlier explained that this is a very input intensive farming practice, we have got the better earthworm numbers per feet in comparison to the chemical farming. And this earthworm is the most important organism which initiate the soil activities, which allows the soil to fill with the aeration, which goes down, creates some tunnels, which allows the rainwater to go inside the soil, which creates the small tunnels and allows the water to come up during the stress period through capillary action. So, so the SPNA practices have shown the better activities of the earthworm. Here, I think I have 7 minutes to speak. Mm, I can show one of the video if you are interested to hear. This one video I'm running, so you can see how the farmer experience.
मैं 2018 से प्राकृतिक खेती कर रहा हूँ। उससे पहले मैं 1998 से लेकर रासायनिक खेती कर रहा था। जब मैंने शुरू किया ये तो मतलब सब लोग ये बोलते भी पागल हो जाए, पढ़ा लिखा आदमी पागल हो गया है। अगर एक कोई लेबर वाला भी मैं लाता हूँ तो वो भी मेरे साथ काम करने को सहमत नहीं था। पिछले वर्ष ही जब सेब की बात आई झड़ने की तो मैसेज करने लगी मुझे भी बताओ इसमें क्या कारण। एप्पल में हमारे प्लांट 1200 प्लांट्स है, जिसमें से फलदार 10 साल से ऊपर के 500 प्लांट्स है, बाकी छोटे प्लांट से 700 प्लांट जो भी लगाए हम। इस पर में हमारे पास सुपर चीप, रेड ब्लॉक, जेरोमाइन और गाला और ग्रेनी स्मिथ की जो लगाई है, अभी इसमें फ्रूटिंग नहीं हुई है। कुलथ है, माश है, दालों में राजमा है, और सर्दियों में मैंने मसूर और जौ बिजाई करी थी, गेहूं और चना भी बिजाई करा था सर्दी में। मिलेट्स हमारे पास कोदा और काउनी है। हाँ जी, एक अपने पास पुट्टू के आटे वाला है, स्थानीय भाषा में ओगड़ा बोलते हैं। ये जो काउनी है ये हम उत्तराखंड के से लेके आए थे। ये कई तरह के रोगों के लिए लाभदायक है। इसकी खिचड़ी बनाने से जैसे किसी को भूख नहीं लगती, शुगर वगैरह के लिए बहुत अच्छा है। ये एंटीऑक्सीडेंट सबसे ज्यादा इसमें है। ये धान हमारे पास 2 वैरायटी का है, ये लाल वाला चावल है और ये आगे वाला जो है सफेद चावल है। इसकी खासियत ये है कि बिना सिंचाई की होता है, ये बारिश पर निर्भर है। ये कोई भी खेती में इसको कर सकता है, इसके लिए पानी की जरूरत बिल्कुल भी नहीं है। इसमें लंबे लंबे ये जो लगते हैं इसलिए उसको लुमरू बोलते हैं, और ये लंबा और बढ़ेगा। ये खरीफ फसलों में होता है। ये मेरे अनुभव में प्राकृतिक खेती में सबसे बड़ा हमारे को जो लाभ हुआ है, इसमें खर्चा कम आता है, लागत मूल्य कम बिल्कुल है, और स्वास्थ्य भी बचा, पर्यावरण भी हम बचा रहे हैं। रासायनिक खेती के तो नुकसान ही नुकसान है। उसमें सबसे पहले हम भूमि को खराब कर रहे हैं, पेयजल हमारा दूषित हो रहा है। और मैं आपको एक बात बताऊं, जो हमारे रासायनिक खेती में जो घास को चारा देते हैं, गाय के दूध में भी उसके अवशेष आ जाते हैं। तो रासायनिक खेती में जो है हम कोई भी छिड़काव करते थे तो उसमें पहले ही मित्र को हम मार देते थे, मधुमक्खियां मर जाती थी। मधुमक्खियां जो हमारी परागण के लिए सहायक होती है, हम कीटनाशक स्प्रे करके उनको मार देते हैं और फसल वैसे ही पॉलिनेशन नहीं हो पाता है। और जहां हम प्राकृतिक खेती करते हैं वहां मधुमक्खियों की संख्या ज्यादा होती है। जब से प्राकृतिक खेती करनी शुरू करी है तब से सबसे पहले तो हमारी जो भूमि उसमें एकदम मुलायम होगी भूमि, और कैंचों की संख्या बढ़ गई घन जीवामृत और जीवामृत डालने से। और पहले वो बिल्कुल भी नहीं नजर नहीं आते जब रासायनिक खेती का। शेल्फ लाइफ है फल की वो अच्छी है, रंग में कोई समस्या नहीं आई है। और जब से प्राकृतिक खेती की है, हमारी सब्जियों में और फलों में एक अच्छा अलग तरह का स्वाद है। जब से प्राकृतिक खेती की है तो उसमें ना माइट आया है, रोगों में कमी आई है उसमें। प्राकृतिक खेती में यूरिया फीड रासायनिक खेती की अपेक्षा कम आया है। एक हमारा पिछले साल का जो पूरा अनुमान है, प्राकृतिक खेती करने के बाद पूरी जो इनकम थी हमारी 8 लाख बनी थी। हॉर्टिकल्चर दोनों मिला के उसकी नेट इनकम थी, और उसमें जो खर्चा था हमारा 60,000 रुपया लगभग जो फंजीसाइड में खर्च होता था पेस्टिसाइड में, रासायनिक खेती में, वो लगभग आधा हो गया है। उसमें हमने जीवामृत की अपनी दिन की दिहाड़ी वगैरह लगा के भी पूरा ये करके भी 30,000 रुपया खर्चा अधिकतम आया हमारा। जो हमारा प्राकृतिक खेती में है, इसमें जीवामृत और घन जीवामृत अगर हम निरंतर डालते हैं 15 से 21 दिन के बीच, तो हमारे को अग्नि अस्त्र वगैरह डालने की भी कम आवश्यकता रही है, जो मेरा अपना अनुभव है। बीच में खट्टी लस्सी फंजीसाइड भी है, वो हम पर्याप्त इसमें करते हैं रूटीन में बीच में।
मेरा नाम सत्या है, मैं लाखों घाटी से हूँ, तहसील ठियोग, जिला शिमला में मेरे घर है। में मेरे 150 पौधा है, जिसमें मैं प्राकृतिक खेती की अब स्प्रे कर रही हूँ। अगर जहरीली स्प्रे हम दुकानों से खरीद के करते थे तो उससे हमारे खर्चा ज्यादा आता था, पैसा भी ज्यादा लगता था, और इसमें हमारे को खर्चा भी कम है और फल भी अच्छा बन रहा है। ऐसा फायदा है कि जो इस फल को खाएगा वो भी बीमार नहीं हो सकता, और हम स्प्रे करने वाले भी इससे खराब नहीं हो सकते, हमारे को कोई हानिकारक नहीं है, पौधा भी स्वस्थ रहता है। पहले सर अगर 5,000 का खर्चा हमारा आता था स्प्रे का, तो अभी हमारा 500 का भी शायद खर्चा नहीं आया है। मैंने अभी तक किसी को नहीं बताया, क्या पता हानिकारक हो सकता है, तो मेरे को भी गाली पड़ सकती है कि हमारा भी इसने सेब खराब कर दिया। इसलिए मैंने अपने बगीचे से शुरू करा है, पर इस साल मैं सबको बता रही हूँ कि आगे के लिए आप ही जो मैंने किया है अपने बगीचे में, आप ये स्प्रे करके देखो। क्योंकि जहर हम खरीदा करते हैं, जब भी हम उसकी स्प्रे करते थे हमारे को चक्कर आते थे, कपड़े चेंज करने पड़ते थे उसी टाइम। अदरवाइज कई बार ऐसा हो कि मेरे को तो एलर्जी भी हो गई थी, एक बार हॉस्पिटल भी लेके गए थे। प्राइवेट दुकानों में हमारे को बताते, हम नहीं जान सकते थे उतना कि क्या, हमारे को बताते ये ले जाओ, ये स्प्रे कर दो, ये स्प्रे कर। उससे हमारा पौधा बहुत खराब हुआ है, पौधा खराब हुआ है हमारा उससे। कई बार तो पत्ते और सेबों में देखो बीमारी इस साल मेरे को नहीं उतनी नजर आई कि है कुछ बीमारी। बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है मेरे को इस बार। जो पहले केमिकल करता था मेरा कभी 50-60 पेटी से ऊपर नहीं गया। इस साल मैं आइडिया कर रही हूँ अपने बगीचे की शायद 100 पेटी निकल जाएगी। प्राकृतिक खेती से सीखा है, ऊपर तो सेब लगे हैं, नीचे मटर भी लगा, जिसमें हमारे को खाद डालने की भी कोई जरूरत नहीं है। नहीं तो घास उगता था सर, घास निकालना पड़ता था। अब वो घास निकालने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है, इसमें घास के बदले हमने मटर लगाया, जिसमें हमारा डबल डबल फायदा हो रहा है सर। सेब के साथ सेब है और उसमें मटर भी लगे, और जिसके लिए हमें यूरिया डालने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है अभी इसमें। पर इतना से सच ही नहीं लगा सर, ये नहीं कि मैं सर की वजह से मेरे बगीचे में इतने सेब लगे, कि इतना सेब मेरा आज तक नहीं लगा बगीचे में। पहले तो सर मैंने जीवामृत की स्प्रे करी, उसके बाद मैंने खट्टी लस्सी की स्प्रे करी, उसके बाद मैंने 7 धनों की स्प्रे करी। उसके बाद देखो जी मेरे बगीचे का रंग, सेबों का रंग कितना अच्छा है। इतना सेब कभी नहीं लगा जी मेरे बगीचे में जितना इस बारी लगा सर। साइज भी अच्छा आ रहा है, कलर भी अच्छा आ रहा है, जब इतना सेब लगता है, फल होता है। हम तो बच्चों की तरह पालते सेबों को, बच्चों की तरह। इसी से हमारा इनकम, इसी से हमारा सब कुछ है। और दिल खुश हो जाता है सर, जब अपनी फसल इस तरह से अच्छे से आए तो दिल भी खुश हो जाता है सर अपनी फसल को देखकर।
Yes, so these are the two small videos I'm trying to show how our farmers are responding. Uh, yes, finally, these are the, now I have only 1 or 2 slides. So we are also mapping the SDGs. It's not only the locally that we are disconnecting the farmers, we are trying to enhancing his farmer income. What's our commitment towards the SDGs? So out of the total 17 goals, we are trying to map 15 targets and 18 indicators. So what we are yielding up from the natural farming practices: farmer economic upliftment, farmer sustainability through use of low cost and local resources, enhancing crop diversity and ensuring nutritional security. As I have already tried to explain that how our women, they are losing now their health, because by virtue of having the only the monocrop. So now the focus has been shifting only not to grow for the outside, but to have a multiple crops for the families also. Then no use of agrochemicals, in that way sounding the environment. So now what we have interestingly found in this natural farming is that during COVID period, more than 130 youths, they have come back and started natural farming and have not gone back to the industries earlier where they were working. So market is also not an issue now. After third year, fourth year, fifth years of the experience, now the traders, they have the direct linkages with our natural farmers, because they know that at least the shelf life is very high. Because the firmness generally in the apple, it remains between 7 to 9. It has gone highest up to 18 in case of the natural farming produce. So that's all from my side. But as the Sant Kabir has already explained कि धीरे धीरे रे मना, धीरे सब कुछ होए, माली सिंचे 100 घड़ा, ऋतु आए फल होए. The transformation takes a time. We are very happy to have the observations, to comments from the academia, from the industry, from the market, from the consumers, and accordingly we plan our strategies, we redesign our experiments, but hopefully within the next 30, 10 to 15 years, we'll convert this whole state into natural farming state with better productivity, better sustainability, and better farmer prosperity. That's all from my side. Thank you so much for being with me. Thank you.
Dr. Chandel has raised. Dr. Rajan, please.
Thank you, sir. We had a great lecture, which has encouraged us towards the natural farming, and it was a very engaging lecture by the speaker, Dr. Chandel, who we thoroughly enjoyed the talk. Then the lecture was practical as well as informative, and I consider it as one of the best lectures on the natural horticulture farming. So
Thank
he
you so
introduced about the what are the taking the success stories and the status in Himachal Pradesh, how the farmers are dependent on the apple, the bee population is declining, particularly Apis cerana, and the high pesticide residue and the ill effects on the children. He has very well explained through very excellent illustrations. Then, what will be the picture of the horticulture, future horticulture, in light of increasing fertilizer and pesticide use? He has all that also indicated. And what is the difference between organic and natural farming? That was beautifully exemplified. And the uh, is now developing for the organic inputs also, but those are too costly, and the cost is the main. Increasing input cost is the main constraint for the farmers now, who are shifting from agriculture to other ways. So he has given beautiful example how the in situ inputs, mainly from the cow dung and the urine, can be utilized, and it is becoming more important because organic carbon is going down, and about it will require a lot of FIM if we go for the traditional farming, particularly for the organic source. And but he has given example of the Bijamrit, Jivamrit, and their advantages, Ghana Jivamrit, and why they are required for the FIM requirement reduction, because the animal population is declining. The importance of these farm inputs increases very well. He has given example of a chadan with a, I should say, synonym to the mulching, how it is usefully being adopted by the farmers of Himachal Pradesh. Then Vapsa, where placement of the Jivamrit, the better results, and the water requirement is also reduced. This has been given, shown by him. And some of the botanicals which are required and being used by the for the crop protection, particularly in apples. Then he has given example where of Himachal Pradesh, where more than 7 lakh farmers are there who have become organic farmers, who have become natural farmers, and with having an area of about more than 10,000 hectares. Then plants kept for the family experimentation. He has used the farm
भाई क्वेश्चन है क्या?
plants, but which are being used
क्वेश्चन
by
है
the family.
क्वेश्चन.
Pardon? Those are the examples given by him, and involving block officers and the area of the land available with the farmers, that will become the mechanism of certification with a non-dependency on the certification agencies, as well having a better traceability. Then outlets of the natural farming for the good price of the produce, it has very well supported it with examples, and systematic documentation of interesting success stories from the state are great. Then he has also given the key learning out of these all ventures which these have been made for last 4 5 years. Then it works with a convincing individual farmer, and it is how the conversion dynamics changes with the individual farmer for the upscaling of the this project. Then importance of the small clusters of the for the conversion, because in most of the schemes programs the clusters of big good number of farmers are included, but here he has given importance for the small clusters. Then transparency and traceability supply chain, that is most important, which is sometimes lacking in organic certification, that has been stressed. And the consumer and farmer satisfaction for the strong connect, it is important and it is working, he has shown. Then convergence of the line department, that will become important and it is becoming important. And this pop requires revision with the consultation of the farmers, this has been stressed. Then example of the high density planting, which is a very resource requiring cultivation of apples. There the fruit quality and growth it has improved with the in using these all natural farming inputs. So it is important and that is noteworthy. An increasing yield pattern in the natural farming, that is also important, where the cost of cultivation has gone down up to 57%. Then the deadly pests like scab, tuta, sluta, and tomato leaf miner managed efficiently. These are the examples. Then earthworm density in the apple high density planting is a very important, which has increased, and it is required for the physical health of the soil. He has stressed about it. Then beautiful video on the natural farming of multiple cropping and apples have been demonstrated by him, and the safe apple for the consumers as well as for the future are required, and the healthy farmers are also through this natural farming what he has located. The improved size and color due to the self-made inputs by the lady farming lady, it is an example. And traders and farmers both are connecting each other. That is becoming important. So we had a clear. He has cleared many confusions regarding the plant protection management. That is the greatest problem in organic cultivation, particularly farming. And this was the great lecture. We really learned a lot, and thank you for the excellent, clear, and practically usable presentation. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Rajan, for clearly highlighting the points on which Dr. Chandel laid stress or he wanted to bring out. You have brought them clearly, further clearly and short listed that. There are a lot of appreciation for Dr. Chandel's lecture. I congratulate Dr. Chandel for giving enormous information on natural farming and other farming related with that. The good points has been brought out, left to the scientist, the developing agencies and farmers to take it up. From his side, he has given the data and the success stories. All have been done scientifically. In our country, large area by default, including Himachal Pradesh, large chunk of area under cultivation by default is, whether you can say it a natural farming or organic farming. My personal request to all those who are propagating natural farming is that kindly concentrate on that area and help them to harvest better and earn more. Ultimate aim of a farmer is to get more profit, more profit. And here this statement has got a implication. Whether it is natural farming or other farming, farmer is interested to run his family and other life activities as others, as we in the service, he has lot of responsibilities. He needs big profit or better profit. So whatever system gives him better profit, I'm sure he or she will adopt that. All the system have got the good point, bad points, and that. That's right. Chemical farming, excessive use of chemicals, there is no doubt, has created a problem. Nobody denies that. If we would have used judiciously, perhaps it would have taken many more years to come to this situation. But we have, I think, did not bother about that, and we have spoiled the atmosphere and particularly the soil health. Everything is related with the soil health. If soil health is good, it will yield the healthy crop and better profit to the farmer. How you maintain the better health? As Professor Chandel in the beginning told you, the carbon content has gone down. Alarming situation. One should be concerned about that. But how to build up that? Merely adding organic matter, and where is the organic matter to add? Where is the waste to add to the soil that much huge quantity? So they have got the answer for that. For that answer is what they have said, the earthworm. I also a propagator of earthworm. I say the earthworm and the microbes. These two, if taken care of, they will build up the soil fertility and soil health, and there won't be any problem of that. And you follow the natural farming, organic farming, this farming, or whatever farming you follow. If these two are there, and how and from where they come, that is your outlook. But the earthworms and microbes, I don't know why somebody has not come up with the terminology of earthworm and microbe farming. To me, that will be most appropriate. Now, with this type of farming, the major component of the crop yield or crop output is the genetic constitution of a plant or a crop, where the genetic improvement has done wonders, and we are all comfortable because of that manipulation. We have got high yielding varieties, high yielding hybrids, and now the gene editing and so many so things are going on. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This connection got disconnected. And under natural farming, organic farming, I wish I'm wrong. I have read that they don't promote that. They lay emphasis on the natural crop, whatever natural varieties, or a little bit improvement in that by selection, etc. Only on that. But I think my personal view, I wish I'm wrong, my personal view that we all experts, so-called experts, sit together, deliberate it time and again, and come up with the system which farmers should adopt. All the systems should go on. It's not necessary that only the particular system will be followed. They say diverse, we know for the diversity, whether it is X diversity or Y diversity. In farming system also, whatever we are doing, it won't be one system. This will be the diverse one. And as I said in the introduction itself, that hydroponic system where the soil is out, that also progressing very well. So that will also exist. The natural farming will also exist. The other farming will also exist. So we should sit together and come up with the appropriate system for different area, different locality, different crop, and all that. But pesticides, pesticides use should be minimized, and if it can go to the zero level, person like me will be happy. Pesticides. All problem, fertilizers, yes, excessive use of fertilizer have caused problem. But the major problem is caused by pesticides. Our beneficial insect, what Dr. Chandel has clearly pointed out, taken toll on that. Even the pollinators have gone. What to talk of other insect, the pollinator, which contribute to the crop yield, um, affected, badly affected. So pesticides are to be taken care of. Moreover, as he brought out a fantastic point in the beginning, that farmer is dependent on the dealers of the agro inputs or horti inputs. He will ask the dealer of the pesticide which pesticide I should use, what fertilizer I should use. He will ask the dealer, not to the scientist, not to the extension worker, not to the agriculture officer. So this thing I think to be taken care of. The farmer should get the right advice at right time and at no cost. Perhaps we will improve it. So I think in nutshell I should say the farming system, natural farming system, the potential Dr. Chandel has brought out clearly. There are potentials in that, but all the things are to be deliberated at appropriate uh, forum at different places, not only the single forum. It can't be a single system only. And I suggest something integrated sort of a thing, integration of all the system if we can, wherever possible, the good varieties, high yielding varieties. And see, when the question of variety and hybrids comes, sorry, I know a little bit of plant breeding. That is why I'm time and again emphasizing on that. Why can't we breed the variety suitable for natural farming? Have the breeding system in a natural farming. If the experts have no objection to that and should not, should not have the objection. Even for our children, marriage, etc., we see the bride or grooms having certain characters. So, what is the problem with crops? Crops also we should look for certain characters. We are not taking from somewhere else. This is there in the existing. They are only thing from one crop to or one variety to another variety. Same thing, same crop. So I think that aspect is important. I have taken a lot of time. I'm sorry, but the topic is important, and I profusely thank Dr. Chandel for educating us on the natural farming. And the natural farming was tried in Japan also. But there I see the technology which I am talking about, everything under protection, protected environment, and there all sort of a hydroponic, aeroponic, and all those things are going on. A number of things are there, but our conditions are different. We need natural farming. We should just concentrate on that, and we wish good luck to Dr. Chandel and to his leadership. Go ahead. Good luck, sir. We wish that you succeed and succeed quickly in your venture and give the more and more and more and more profit to the farmers. With these words, I thank one and all. We meet again. We meet again next Sunday. Next Sunday, there are a lot of appreciation, and somebody say that the breeding varieties for natural farming are needed. Yeah, somebody is supporting what I said. It's good. So next webinar is on. Hello. Next webinar. Yes. Horticulture Cluster Development Program to expand global reach. So cluster development program of Bharat Sarkar is there. So we will just get knowledge on that. We will be educated on that, and we disseminate knowledge on that. With these words, I thank you all. Wish you all happy Independence Day. Celebrate Independence Day. Celebrate 75th Azadi Ka Mahotsav. Thank you so much. And keep supporting us. Keep supporting us by putting questions, queries. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you for enlightening me specifically how to integrate the new ideas in natural farming. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Dr. Shalendra, for briefing my whole presentation. Thank you so much. Namaste, sir.
Namaste.